So it was really fun to be there for their origin, and you get to watch them fall in love like in the movie. So that's fun.
Just so dedicated to their craft. Like they just
Yeah, they're just so good.
yeah. We'll see when the like Britt is in control, right? He's directing, so he still hasn't called cut yet. Hopefully he won't. Hopefully he'll keep it
Yeah,
going.
no cut
Yeah.
for either of them.
Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Your Pass, and I'm talking to Sam Reddy, the star of Insane Like Me, which came to digital on June 14, 2024. I'm going to talk to her right now, and while you're watching, if you can subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spend a lot. Thank you. So, thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Sam Reddy, the star of Insane Like Me, which came to digital on June 14th, 2024. It is a horror thriller that has a really fun cast, some mental health aspects, and vampires. What's not to like? It's a fun movie. It definitely has like an indie feel to it. So I'm very excited to talk to you. I'm very excited to hear more about it. And thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course, of course. So, first question, how is your mental health? How are you doing?
Oh, wow. That is such a nice question. Thank you for asking.
Sure.
I'm good. I'm really good. I have an amazing therapist that I love deeply. So that definitely helps. And also I take a lot of steps to make sure that I'm in a good space. So thanks for asking.
Of
That's
course. And no vampires in your life right now that you know that
none
you
right none right now.
know.
We'll see when October rolls around. They always sneak out. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
And I guess there's like emotional vampires. I guess that's a thing too.
I've
But
heard
it
of
sounds like,
those.
yeah,
That's true. I've heard of those, and luckily none of those are around either. So emotional or the real
or
deal.
real, yeah, or real
Yeah,
deal. Yeah.
the real deal.
Hopefully your
Besides,
therapist can help like identify them and push those out of your life
yeah,
too.
yeah. We'll see if there's a sequel. If there's a sequel, then maybe there'll be more vampires around.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it does leave it open for a sequel. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens
True.
with the movie.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, next question. How did you get involved in this project? How did you kind of like sign on to this? Had you worked with Britt before?
No, this was my first time working with him, and it was such a joy. The whole team was so great. But I just, like a lot of actors can relate, I was on Actors Access submitting away, and then I got an audition. It's funny, I actually auditioned for Samantha, the other role, the sister who ended up, that was Grace's role. But I auditioned for her originally, and then I got he messaged me back saying like, hey, loved your audition, but we're thinking of you for Crystal. And I was like, okay, awesome. Then he sent me the script and I loved it, so I was super excited.
That's
And
awesome.
watching it now, I could not imagine me playing Samantha, because when you audition, you only get like a little blurb, like a little description, so you don't know the full script. But once I read the script, I was like, oh yeah, this makes so much more sense. But yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I love that. Like it was, kind of a disappointment-ish, but it ended up working out fine. It actually ended up being like a
Totally.
better role for you.
Totally. And even just seeing the dynamic of the cast, it made so much more sense. So it's one of those things where you're like, oh, okay, let's see. And then it's like, oh, this fits my vibe so much more. This makes more sense with like the other casting. So I'm really happy the way it turned out.
And it probably would have been awkward during filming to have a budding relationship be between like Britt and the younger sister versus Britt and his
Yeah.
girlfriend. So
Yeah, it definitely worked out the way it was supposed to.
I,
Yeah,
I love seeing that. I asked him, I was like,
I
so like, did
know.
you write this knowing that you were like, I thought they had been married and they like wrote this as a joint project. Like, no, we met on set. I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's
Right.
fantastic.
It was so fun too, watching them get so close and then being like, what's going on there? And then like seeing like how deeply they cared about each other. And then months later, like being friends on Instagram and keeping in touch, being like, oh my gosh, you guys are still together. And then, oh my gosh, you guys are married. So it was really fun to be there for their origin, and you get to watch them fall in love like in the movie. So that's fun.
Just so dedicated to their craft. Like they just
Yeah, they're just so good.
yeah. We'll see when the like Britt is in control, right? He's directing, so he still hasn't called cut yet. Hopefully he won't. Hopefully he'll keep it
Yeah,
going.
no cut
Yeah.
for either of them. But
So that's awesome. So you hadn't worked with any of these people before. This was just a like a, you dropped into, I think it was in Texas and filmed there.
yes. Yes, and that was my first time in Texas. I had never been to Texas before, so that was really fun. And since then, I filmed a few things in Texas, but that was my favorite experience. One of my favorite moments was we finished the last shot of the movie, which was actually the campfire scene. And we're wrapping, and then as soon as they like take the last shot, it starts to snow a little bit. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's snowing. I didn't even know it snowed in Texas, really. So I was like, this is amazing. So that was really, really fun.
That is fantastic. It almost seems like they should have gone back and filmed some more scenes just to have options of like snow in Texas. I also didn't realize it snowed in Texas. I thought that that was.
I know. Coming from Florida, I was very surprised about that, but it was so like, it was just a beautiful ending. Also, fun to note, all those campfire scenes were like in tank tops and jeans. We were freezing because it was cold enough to snow. So in between takes, we were running to the cars to like warm up because we would get like peak because we were so cold. But the things you do,
Yeah, I
the
know.
things you do.
The things you do for your art. That is a
Yeah,
surprising. Yeah, I mean, like it looks like a summer in Texas, as you would imagine, and like, that's crazy to hear.
it was not. But yeah, it was fun
But
though.
at least you got snow, right? It wasn't just bitter cold. You got beautiful snow. So
Yes, it made it so worth it. I think I started tearing up a little bit because it was like we just wrapped a movie. We spent 2 weeks or 12 days, and it was like we did it. That was the last shot, and we're done. And it was like, woo. So it was really a fun celebratory little sprinkle of
yeah,
snow.
well, that's awesome. That's a great way to end it. And I know that you like never have enough time in a indie film. Like, did you have any time before to like work with the cast? Did you do, I guess, did you like reads before you were actually filming, or did you have some time when you like dropped down to interact with the cast before you started filming? Or was this like boom, 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 let's go, let's go?
Yeah, luckily we were able to do a Zoom with Britt and the director Chip. So both of them together, they were able to do read throughs basically. And they did it one on one with each cast member, which I thought was really cool because they got to prick your brain about what you think about the character and then they'd give their tweaks. So it was like a workshop basically. You came in and you like worked your scenes and then like wrote notes and then ran it again. So that was really helpful. And then it I think I got in and the next day I started shooting. So it was a little bit like, okay, let's get it moving, but it wasn't. There's always even on indies, there always ends up being time because they have to set up the lights. They have to set up like hair and makeup. Like there's all these different things. So it was really fun getting to spend some time with the cast and get to know them a little bit.
No, that's
But
awesome. And speaking of the cast, one of the people that was really fun to see was Eric Roberts. And it looks like there was some fun, like it looks like he was a little bit goofy behind the scenes. What was it like working with him?
he was so fun to be around. He had such an energy about him that was so fun and so light. And I think it was also really cool to watch him. Even when you watch him just like in a film or in a TV show, he has this like magnetism about him that's very like you just want to know what he's saying. And watching an actor work like that as soon as they're on screen, you're just like, what are they doing? Like, you're drawn to them was really interesting to watch. But him as a person off screen was just so delightful, so fun. He we would keep making jokes like, "Hey, Dad," and he would be like, make comments like, honey, I don't like your outfit today, which is what my dad would say. So he was just so fun and so kind because you never know when people have such a legacy behind them. You never know what they might be like, but he was so kind and so cool.
That's awesome. I love that he like slotted right into the dad role. And it's probably right. Like your outfit was probably completely wrong for the weather. So, you know.
Yeah, he was like, "Where's your sweater?" And I was like, "That's what my dad would say." So,
Yeah.
so that's about right.
Yeah, I saw there's some pictures on the IMDb and there's one where he's like has his arms around you and Grace and he's like covering your eyes and like a funny like
Yeah,
behind the scenes.
yeah, he was a total jokester, and he was just so much fun to be around.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
it sounds like it was pretty fun to be around everyone. What was it like with I'll say Britt and Grace because I assume that they're kind of a pair at this point, but maybe at that point they were like individual people, so we could. What was?
Yeah, both of them. It was so obviously Britt was really busy because he was also running the show, but they both were so cool. I also loved getting to know Britt's mom, who would come to set, and his brothers in the movie too. So like their whole family is just so sweet. And then a few weeks ago, I actually flew back to Texas. They had a watch party at their house. So I was able to spend some time with them and some more family members and friends. they both were just so fun to work with. And Grace is such a little energizer bunny. She is so fun to be around, and she has this laugh that just brightens your day. She's so much fun to work with.
That
They
is
both
awesome.
are.
No, that's awesome. I love that. Like it, it sounds like it was a family affair to make the movie. It sounds like it has kind of like continued to be that, and now you're like part of the family. You know, you're part of the family in the movie, but now it sounds like you're part of the family as well, part of their like extended family.
It feels like that. And that's what I love about indies so much, is that in the independent world is so big, but then again, it's not. So the more people, it's like each set, you're like, okay, I love you for this role. I love you for that role. Or, each set it's like you take people with you, where it's like, okay, if I ever am on a set and they need a DP, I have these three to like refer to because they were so great to work with, or hair and makeup, or PAs, like anything. You have these like people where it's like they were so great on this set, so let's bring them along if there's an opportunity to connect people,
Yeah,
which in indie there seems to be a lot of that, I've
yeah, for
found.
sure. No, that's awesome. I've like noticed that a little bit. I started like doing interviews around the pandemic time, and now like those like now I'm getting like repeats of like, oh yeah, I talked to this person in such and such. It's really great to talk to them
That's so
again.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So hopefully maybe in the sequel I could talk to you again too.
You know
Or
what?
whatever's
I would
next.
love that. I would love that. And then I'll say, the vampires came back.
There we go.
You
And so normally I do these like before the film has come out, but the film has been out yet. What has it been like kind of like seeing the movie out there, seeing reactions to it? It sounds like you went to a watch party, which was that
Yeah.
like just a private watch party or was that a public watch party also?
Yeah, it was private. It was just like cast, crew, and family. So that was really cool. It's been really fun hearing like my friends and family call and be like, what the heck? Like, because I didn't really give any details really. If you watch the trailer before, you have like, a little bit what's going on, but it's been really cool to see friends and families' reactions, but also to see people online. Like the horror community is so cool because it's so connected and there's such a following behind it that I would love to do more horrors because it's so cool seeing people, if they love certain parts, if they don't love certain parts, like whatever it is, to see what they have to say about it. So that's been really cool because this is the first movie I've had come out that there's been like I can Google articles about it.
That's
I'm
amazing.
texting my family group chat, like, what do you guys think? It's like I'm seeing people do reviews about it, and that's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're texting them and they're like, where can I see it? Like, oh, you can see it anywhere. It's not like you have to go to this like weird web page or you put it up on
Vimeo.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been really cool.
That's
Really
awesome. And yeah,
fun.
the horror community is very, very, I don't know, invested. They're very vocal. I love doing horror. I
Yes.
do a lot of horror just because it's such a, an interactive community. There is a lot of like, I think camaraderie with other people that are in horror. So it was just a fun community to like be involved in.
It really is. And even when I was talking to Britt a few weeks ago when I was in Texas, he was because I would read the reviews and there were so many mentions of like little nods to past horror things that I think people in the community really respect, where a lot of it went so over my head that I'm like, I have to watch like six movies to make this, like to pick up the things in these movies. But it's cool because there's such respect to the genre that I think is really neat.
Yeah, that's well now you can start indoctrinating yourself in the genre and kind of maybe you'll be a scream queen. That's a that's a lofty goal.
That is my goal. That is my dream. I would love to be a scream queen.
Perfect. Well, we'll see what happens in the sequel. Fingers crossed.
Gross.
So I know we have limited time. I'm going to switch to a lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I
Okay.
want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie. Feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Okay, cool.
First question: have you ever stayed in a haunted hotel or haunted house? Maybe
I have not, and I do not want to.
that's a good answer. Although I feel like in Florida, Atlanta, there's probably haunted buildings a lot of places, right? Like
I'm sure there are, and I stay very clear of those places. I respect the haunted. I'll like peek, but I'm not. The closest thing I've done is the haunted mansion at Disney World. That's the closest thing I've gotten to haunted.
And it's probably haunted. I mean, it probably is actually haunted given like all
It
the stuff that happens at Disney.
it probably, yeah. You're so right. It
I'm sure
probably is
several people have died there. I'm almost certain.
haunted. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Well,
So
that's
that's as haunted as it gets.
you're gonna have to start getting used to it if you want to stay in horror.
Oh,
You gotta really kind of dig in.
I'm dipping my toe.
Okay.
But yeah.
So you are going up against a vampire. What weapon would you choose in this movie? There were several. There was a gun. There were brass knuckles. There was holy water. There was a pole that was used. What would you use if you have to actually fight a real vampire?
In the movie, I used a gun with silver bullets. That was cool. But I think I would use brass knuckles because I did karate growing up. So I feel like I still can. I do kickboxing. So I'm like, maybe I can knock him out.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's awesome. You'd be like, I would use justice and peace. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. The two weapons right here.
So was that your first time using like a gun in a movie, or have you used them before in other films?
It wasn't. It was my second time. So I have used, but it was a smaller gun. This was a bigger one, but not as heavy as the real deal. It was very manageable.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's awesome. No,
So
I love that. I love that you're expanding your repertoire. Next time though,
yeah,
I want to see some hand-to-hand fighting. That would be fun to see you and like Britt jump in back to back. Maybe that'll be for the
yeah,
sequel. Yeah, you're both vampire hunters. I love it.
that would be very cool.
Okay, so now that I know that you are a fighter, realistically, how many vampires do you think you could have taken out?
You know, when I was watching, some of them they were quick. They were pretty quick. I think I could take, the one in the hotel that was moving really slow. I feel like I could definitely take him. But some of the quick ones, like the one who like jumped on someone, she's a little spunky. So I would say a solid three.
Okay. That's a solid number. That's good. It's not
Yeah.
bravado. You're not going crazy, but it is
No.
realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. Britt will take care of, or Jake will take care of the other ones. Crystal's got three.
That is a very respectable, amount. That's a good help. So I also love like, it wasn't a storage locker, but it was like Britt's garage that had like all of his vampire hunting utensils. It looks like nice and clean. I just wish I had a garage. I don't actually have one, so it made me really, happy to see, but also sad. Do you have like a storage locker or a garage that you keep stuff? Doesn't have to be for killing vampires, just like random stuff.
I do not. I live in an apartment, so I have a closet of like stuff, especially for like acting, like my backup, my lights, like my ring light, things like that is like all in a closet. And then it's like our tennis rackets or like pickleball and all these like it's just stuff. A little tiny Christmas tree. So no storage unit, but I too am jealous because that was a great space and it was so clean.
Yeah, it
Like
was really nice.
so
And I also have a closet of random props for videos. That is a normal thing
right.
that people probably have. Like most people probably have stuff like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. This movie involves, some family, I don't know, drama or at least, family love. Do you have a sister? Well, we'll go with sister, but I guess we could do sibling too, just in case.
I don't have a sister. I do have a brother, and he is older. Not as much of an age gap as Will and Grace or Will and Samantha, and then Crystal, because they had quite the age gap. But I do have a brother, and then cousins that feel like sisters, which is nice.
And that brother is not a vampire, not in any
He's
danger,
not a
as far as you
vampire.
know.
Yes, as far as I know, he has exhibited no vampire behavior.
Excellent. Have you ever eaten any sort of like blood-based food?
Ooh, does a blood orange count?
Hey, we'll
Isn't
go with
that
it. It's got blood in the name. We'll go with it.
yeah? Besides that, no. And again, don't want to.
Well, again, as you get more into horror, we'll see what else happens.
We'll see. Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
we'll see what the next one brings.
and the last question is, when was the last time that you gave blood?
Ooh, that is a great question. I want to say maybe 4-ish years ago, 3 to 4 years ago. I kept finding myself getting like trapped into this thing of sometimes when you travel to certain countries, you can't give blood for a certain amount of time. So I kept getting stuck in that, but I don't know. I did some traveling this summer, so I should probably check and see if I'm good to go. Because that would be good.
That is a good problem to have, though. You're just traveling so much that you keep
Yeah.
getting hit with the
Yeah.
list because you're just traveling too often. I mean, that sounds
Very less
fantastic.
problem for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. So the film was released on June 14th, 2024. You were out getting the word out, letting people know, and also seeing the reaction, seeing people, what people think about the movie. But I'm sure you have other projects on the horizon. So after people see you in Insane Like Me, what can they look for next for you?
Yes, I have. I'm not sure when. A lot of indie is you make it and then you cross your fingers and hope for what's next. But the project I'm most excited for next is a film called Off Rip. And it was filmed in Florida with indie filmmakers. And I've actually done another movie with them before. It was called Soulmates. And they're just awesome. And they're putting it into festivals. There's going to be a screener in Florida, California, New York, Atlanta. So that's going to be in August and September before they do the festival circuit. So I'm really excited about that film
That's
too.
awesome. And you could
Yeah.
probably go to at least a couple of those, right? Are you going to go to a few of
Yes.
those screenings?
I'm going to try to go to as many as I can, but definitely Florida and definitely Atlanta. I'm going to try for California and New York, but it just depends on the days. But I'm really excited because it's one of, if not the first feature film made about skimboarding. So it's action, drama, coming of age. It's really, really exciting. And they are awesome people.
That sounds
So,
awesome. And that sounds like a perfect movie to be set in Florida. So look forward to
yes.
seeing that. But while you wait for that to come to festivals later this year, check out
Mhm.
Insane Like Me. It's on digital on June 14th, 2024. This is Sam Reddy, the star of the film. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. This was so fun.
That was Sam Reddy talking about Insane Like Me, which came to digital on June 14th, 2024. It is a horror psychological thriller that has a really fun cast, some mental health aspects, and vampires. What's not to like? If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.